Recording in progress.
Honorable Pala, good morning. I want to show off like camera how it lasts.
Yeah, it looks like Honorable Pala is sharing this meeting this morning.
No, let him correct his camera. Let me look at myself quickly. Okay.
Good morning, honorable members. It's exactly 10 o'clock. I would like us to start with our proceedings. We are a committee that starts on time and stick to the allocated time slot given to us by Parliament. Am I audible, honorable members?
Yes, sir.
You are, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mr. Mkize, can you fly the agenda for us?
Am I okay? Honorable members? Good
Yes,
morning.
Honorable Pala, you are good.
Oh, okay. Great, thanks.
Honorable members, the agenda is before us. Flight it on the screen. It's exactly 1 minute after 10. There is our agenda on the screen. I would like to welcome honorable members to our meeting today for the the Select Committee on Public Petitions and Executive Undertakings. My name is Offense Jeremiah Mokai, and I'm the chairperson of this committee. Today we are going to have a meeting dealing with one of petition that we have received as a committee. I would like also to welcome the Honorable Minister of Transport, Honorable Barbara Creasy, and her team who are joining us here. Welcome the honorable members who are on the platform. Welcome to the petitioner who's also on the virtual platform. And feel free, this is our meeting. It's an official meeting of Parliament, by extension, this committee. Mr. Mkize, can you run us through quickly the apologies that you have received?
Good morning, honorable members and colleagues. Chair, I've received a formal apology from Honorable Mananisa and Honorable Billy, who mentioned that he'll be joining us later. That's all, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mkize. Mr. Mkize is the committee secretary, and he's the one who's assisting us. Welcome also to Mr. Majosi from the Parliamentary Communication Services. Welcome to our committee researcher, Ms. Namhla Nwala as well, and all the support staff who are joining us this morning. Honorable members, those are the apologies that we've received. Can we go to the first agenda item, which is the consideration and the adoption of the agenda? I also received communication from the Office of the Minister, who has requested us to leave early after her remarks. So the Minister will join us for the first part of the session, but she has requested to be released during the middle. So when you see her logging off, know that I have received her apology in writing, Honorable Barbara Creasy. Honorable members, there is the first item, which is the consideration and adoption of the meeting agenda. Can I have a mover and a seconder?
Chair, I'm sorry, man, my hand, this gadget is not compliant with raising my hand. My apology for that. Good morning to you and good morning to the honorable members. Chair, there is a document that we have received. Sorry, Chair. The document that I think we have received, I think from the parastatal itself. I don't know in terms of the agenda, where are we going to entertain that in terms of presentation? Subject to that, I would have no problem in actually moving for adoption of the draft agenda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nonkonyana, for that move. Yes, we are going to have presentations from the Office of the Minister and obviously from the department. That will be sorted, it will form part of point number 2. And then we will have number 3 for us to move and have those deliberations. Can we have a seconder from the move by Honorable Nonkonyana? Honorable members, the Honorable Nonkonyana moves the adoption.
Chair?
Hello?
Chair?
Honorable Zulu, over to you.
Yes, Chair. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Chairperson, can I please speak with my video off, please?
You can proceed. Noted.
Yes, thank you so much, Chairperson. I so move, Chairperson, for
Thank you very
the.
much for the mover, Honorable Nonkonyane. Thank you very much, Honorable Zulu, for that move. Honorable members, we are going to go straight to point number 2 on the agenda, which is the consideration of the express issues. It's read actually the petition hearing, Mr. Mkize, because we are actually hearing the petition today. With those words, members, we received a petition from the petitioner in the name of Mr. Kasibe, who has requested the NCOP and Parliament specifically to assist when they applied. I'm going to hand over to him so that he takes the committee through. He's the petitioner, and as part of our processes and as part of our SOP, we first give hearing to the person who actually brought us to this meeting. And then once we have received that oral submission, we're then going to give the opportunity to the key stakeholder in this case, which is the Department of Transport, in the person of the minister and in the person that official who are going to take the committee through. So without wasting any time, I'm going to hand over to Mr. Kasibe. Please, Mr. Kasibe, introduce yourself fully and then do your oral submissions. Over to you.
Good morning, honorable members and all parties related to our petition. My name is Fumani Kasibe. I am one of the more than 600 former South African Express Airways, that is referred to as SAX, SAX in short.
Honorable members, those who are not on the floor, can we just mute? The person on the floor is the petitioner, Mr. Kasibe. So all of us who are not recognized by the chair can just put our gadgets on mute. You can proceed, Mr. Kasibe.
Okay. Yeah, I am representing the more than 600 former SAX employees, and per the email that we sent on the 30th September 2025, that tries to summarize our case. So I don't know whether I can just go through everything that is in that email, because it forms the basis of our case in summary.
Mr. Kasibe, you can proceed, but members have received all the documentation that is before us today, so you don't have to go verbatim. You can just summarize and key issues that you want to highlight from your inputs.
Okay, thanks for that. Yeah, our premise regarding our case is that in and around the same time that both SAA and SA Express were at some stage under administration, and it is in the public domain that SAA was eventually bailed out by the government. Yet we were left in the cold, and ultimately SAX was liquidated. And we maintain that it is rather unlawful and unconstitutional for a state-owned enterprise to be liquidated. And that also is supported by the mere fact that at the end of the day, SAA was bailed out. So we have been communicating with government since 2020. We even took our case to the South African Human Rights Commission, and they did communicate to the government. That was back in 2020. Everything that is wrong in their action with regard to SA Express. So the long and short of it is in the email that I mentioned, dated 30th September 2025. And we are yet to receive a resolution to that effect from the government in particular. So I'll stop here at the moment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kasibe, for those inputs. Members, we have received the documentation and the details of the petition. We also received from our researchers' office a summarized version. Members, as you know, that at the center of the petition is the retrenchment packages that the former employees of SAX Express have not received. As we go through the gist of the presentation, without further ado, we've got the minister who's the custodian of this transport portfolio in which the airline falls. But I will afford the minister to make an input. Her office has also received this petition because her office is central to this petition. And I think it's proper that we also afford the executive authority the opportunity. And then she will also just, maybe if there are additional submissions that she wants to make or from her team, we will afford them that opportunity. Over to you, Honorable Chrissy, who is the Minister for Transport for the Republic of South Africa. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairperson, and good morning to all the honourable members on the platform. Let me also greet the petitioner, Mr. Kasibe, and also our support officials who have joined us in this meeting. Chairperson, I am together with Mr. Martin Malopane, who will do the presentation on behalf of the Department of Transport. Mr. Malopane is a former employee at Public Enterprises. Honourable members, the matters which the committee are going to consider today are matters that occurred some time ago. And the SA Express was put in business rescue, and business rescue practitioners were appointed in 2020. And in 2020, these business rescue practitioners applied for the liquidation of SA Express. And in 2022, a court judgment was given. And that court judgment was that that court judgment was that that this entity had to be liquidated. Now, Chairperson, I think that the issues that Mr. Kasibe is raising on behalf of the 600 workers are matters of grave concern. And I think what will be very important for the committee is to receive a briefing from your parliamentary legal services on the nature of the powers of business rescue practitioners. Because business rescue practitioners, in terms of the relevant act, which is not an act that falls under the transport sector, but is really an act governed by the Department of Trade and Industry. These practitioners have very wide powers. And the way in which these business rescue practitioners interpret their powers is that they don't account to the entity. South African Airways, as the group under which SA Express fell, have tried on a number of occasions to meet these business rescue practitioners. They have not availed themselves. And I suppose the decision of the workers to approach the Select Committee is a significant decision, because the Select Committee has powers of subpoena, which we don't have as the Department of Transport. So I'm sure that with relevant legal advice, the committee would be in a position to receive the answers from the business rescue practitioners that are required in this case, and to make use of a subpoena should the business rescue practitioners decline to attend the session on a voluntary basis. So I wanted just to make those opening remarks, Chairperson. I will sit in for a while on the presentation. I was supposed to leave at 10:30. I've managed to delay my departure until 11. So I will sit in and listen to the proceedings, and allow me at this point to hand over to Mr. Malopane, who is going to make the presentation.
You can proceed, Honorable Minister.
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, Minister. Good morning, members of the Select Committee. Good morning to Mr. Kasibe, the petitioner.
Mr. Malapane, my apologies. We normally would just like to, we'll appreciate just to see your video on, and then if you have challenges with bandwidth and so forth, you are allowed to switch off the video. But for the process of Parliament, can just have your video on, and then we can switch it back off. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you, Chair. I'm trying also to from my end, it appears that the video it's on. I think I'm trying also to for members and you, Chair, and the Minister to see me. Oh Lord, because my
Yeah, I request we excuse Mr. Malapane if he's not able to put the video on. I can confirm he's a real person, not a robot.
Yes, thank you, Minister.
Not thank you, Honorable Minister. Mr. Malapane, you may proceed for the interest of time.
Okay.
We understand that sometimes technology is not always on our side, but you can proceed.
Indeed. Thank you, Chair, for your indulgence. Good morning again. Next slide, please. Yes, Chair, I think at the outset, basically this is the background that we've managed to put together without complicating the situation. But the essence of it is that SA Express was not managed and was not managed correctly. And this led to some of the causes that included, among others, the overstating of the profits in previous years. In other words, giving an impression that the entity is profitable, the entity is being managed properly, only to find that later on, as it happens, that it was not. Among others, maybe want to give an example, the dispute that it had with the one company that led to apply for the business rates, which is Ziegler Operations. So it turned out that it had an amount that it had owed, and it did not pay for the services of this entity. And this entity, because of that, it ran to court. So one of the key fundamental issues that it's required for an entity to be placed on business rescue is that the entity must not be able to pay its debt. So in this case, by overstating its profit, it showed that in essence it was unable to pay its debt. So it was in what is called financial distress. And now, by so doing, that led then in 2017, 2018, that because it was now experiencing financial challenges, its operator certificate was then suspended because among other issues, there were safety concerns. That, remember, this is a very sensitive environment. Immediately an aircraft is not meeting the required safety protocols, then the aircraft is then suspended. So in this case, around 2017, 2018, SA Express expressed the same thing. Now, as a result of that, because the entity wanted to be seen to be functional, it then engaged into what we call charter aircraft services. In other words, liaising with other companies that are in the same space as SA Express to try to facilitate the passengers that way subscribe to it. So this also it's a negative, and because it shows that the entity is not run profitably, is not run appropriately in terms of the normal ways of running a company. Now, as it could be indicated by my fourth bullet point, that this then shows that because of the first bullet point of overstating the profits, you expect that it ought to have money. But now it shows that over these years, it in actual fact, it didn't have the supposed profits that it claimed to have. And also, this then led to my fifth and last point, to say SA Express management failed to efficiently run its activities and its business correctly. Now, this then shows that on the whole, the company that ran to court wanted then to say to government to say SA Express is not run, it's not been run properly. So therefore, it would be then prudent to safeguard its finances, which is owed by SA Express, to be paid. Next slide, please. And this is generally, Chair, to just to give you a financial performance over the years, that some of which has led to the legacy debt that SA Express experienced. And you then begin to wonder what then happens to the financial capital or the profit that a regional entity like SA Express ought to have generated over these years. Yeah. So the picture just to demonstrate the performance and not forgetting the involvement of COVID-19. Next slide, please. Now, Chair, I would wish to also just to make a correction, Chair. I think I made a typo on the first sentence. The SAX Express was placed on involuntary business leave on the 6th of February 2020, not 2025. So in this regard, SAX Express owed as Ziegler a sizable amount of money, which was which its dispute arose in 2019 when the Ziegler issued the letter of demand from SA Express. Now, without necessarily, compounding or bringing back all the historical history, the long story short, Chair, is that on the 6th of February 2020, when it was placed on business review, 2 business review practitioners were appointed in order for, because again, probably maybe it would be important just to indicate. Remember, when the business rescue practitioners are appointed or when an entity is placed on business rescue, the primary purpose is to save the business. As the terminology explains, that they are trying to rescue the business of SA Express. Now, this process, Chair, involves that the business rescue practitioners must take over, as Minister also indicated earlier, that in terms of the the Companies Act 71 of 2008, as amended, the business rescue practitioners have powers, and those powers, to a large extent, means that they take over the management of the company with the assistance of the board of directors of that entity, which is under business rescue. So in this case, SA Express was now being managed by business rescue practitioners who then exercise management control over the entity to ensure that, to see where the entity is lacking. For example, to check whether some of the contracts that it has concluded are profitable, and if they are not, those contracts must be terminated, and then in order to save the money for the business, in order to save the business. Now, in this case, the business rescue practitioners did their utmost, and then out of having assessed that situation, they must now develop what is called a business plan. A business plan is a corporate plan that explains how this entity, its current status, and how to go forward. Now, in that whole process, Chair, another important issue that has to be part of it is that there's what is called post-commencement capital. In other words, it's the money that the business rescue practitioners must generate in order to save the business. Regrettably, in this case, the business plan that was presented by the BRPs to government was not, for lack of a better word, a sustainable business plan, which, according to business, and as Mr. Kasibe has indicated, that SAA was assisted. So in this case, government also wanted to assist SA Express to be a credible and sustainable business. Unfortunately, the business plan didn't make sense, and now there was a difference of opinion between the business practitioners and government. Now, because the entity is run by business rescue practitioners, they are the people who by law or by court order are the responsible people. So then, as a result of that failure of agreement between the two parties, they've decided then to file for the provisional liquidation. Provisional liquidation, Chair, means that, again, even in this instance, it means now people who have claims against the entity will then have to then file for or to prove their claims. And now in this case, the entity's management moves from business rescue to liquidators now. And now liquidators, their focal point, it's not to save the business. Their focal point is to save the buck for the creditors, the people who have invested in the entity, among which include the employees, right? So to that extent, they have tried. 5 provincial liquidators were appointed under the leadership of one Mr. Aviwen Njamaha, who also with his colleagues tried their utmost, among which they auctioned or sold some of the tangible assets, and by in this case I mean the parts that were available and were not the SA Express was no longer using, the engines which were still there, and everything that the liquidators could come up to. And if my memory serves me well, I think they managed to raise an amount of about 24 odd million, and out of that they then and then they again I think later in 2021, 2022 thereabout, there was an entity which was allegedly formed by the employees called Fly SA Express, who wanted to buy into the entity to make it sustainable. Unfortunately, they couldn't come up with capital to sustain the business. And as a result, as Minister also has also indicated, on the 14th of September 2022, SA Express was finally liquidated. And I think it's important because at this stage, some of us are no longer at DPS. You may know that the Department of Public Enterprise has been dissolved, and then some of us have joined Department of Transport. And I think the people who would be able to give you the nuance and the details into who was paid, how much was paid, would be the liquidators. I'll stop there for now, Chair. Thank you. I think the last slide just indicate what I've just indicated, Chair. Thank you, Chair.
No, thank you very much, Mr. Malapani, for that, and thank you to your principal as well, the Minister of Transport. Honorable members, these are the facts that are before us as a committee, the inputs made by the petitioner, the inputs made by the Department of Transport, and as you note that the Department of Public Enterprises was dissolved and is no longer there, but some of the officials who are here with assistance us. Honorable members, I'm going to open the floor and noting the inputs and the recommendations specifically that were made by the Minister as well as Mr. Malapani. I note the hand of Honorable Nonkonyana. I don't see any other hand for now. Honorable, okay, and Honorable Gerike and Honorable Noe, in that order. Let's give first to Honorable Nonkonyana. Honorable Nonkonyana, over to you, and then I'll give the other members their opportunity.
Chairperson, honorable members, honorable minister, and your team, good morning to you all. And I must join the chair to thank you for the presentation, both you and special greetings to the petitioner, and also express my appreciation for the stance he took on behalf of the workers. Chair, the first which I must raise with the minister and the team, I noticed from their presentation, particularly the background, that they know that the entity for years was not properly managed. But from the presentation, it is not disclosed by who or whom or which entity who was responsible for so many years to mismanage that entity. And again, which is similar to the issue that I've just raised, there's an issue from 2017 to 2018 that it had to be suspended for operational reasons. And again, it is not clear from the presentation who was responsible for what took place, which led to the Aviation Authority to suspend their certificate to operate. And I also noticed, Chair, that there was also an allegation contained of malfeasance in terms of contract, which makes some corrupt activity. Again, I don't get full disclosure who was responsible. In other words, whether there has been any consequence management as a direct result of maladministration of the entity. That is upshot of my question. Secondly, Chair, the operation from 2009 to 2019, we could see it was really going down. And I'm not so sure whether there is no issue of reckless trading, because we know in terms of the Companies Act that the directors and whoever is responsible for any entity under the Companies Act who trades recklessly, there are consequences. And again, from the presentation, I don't get a full disclosure whether there has been any reckless trading and therefore any consequence. I know that perhaps the minister as well as the team were not responsible much, but as successors, in my view, they cannot just wash their hands and say we know nothing and then we did nothing. Hopefully, from the records of the department, they would be able then to give us a full disclosure so that we are able to exercise our oversight responsibility, as Honorable Minister correctly pointed out. Then the next point, Chair, is the issue of the liquidators, Blanche and another. I seem to think that when business rescuers are appointed, is to rescue the business and not to liquidate it. I see here that they were just appointed in 2022 to save the sinking ship, as it were. But they just decided, no, let it go down deeper and deeper. Can they please indicate to us? I know and I accept that we'll have to subpoena them, as the minister correctly pointed out to us. But can they provide us with some facts around this issue? Because I don't understand. It looked like they just went to sell whatever, with no regard to retain the entity and to retain the needed employment and to retain, of course, the rationale behind the establishment of that entity in terms of actually providing, giving its role in improvement of the economy and, of course, in securing the jobs for the people of South Africa. And the other one, Chair, I couldn't understand the presenter when she says Business IQ Rescue decided to liquidate to save only liquidators. And he mentioned including some employees. How can liquidation save employees? That's I know it may save, but not much, because not all creditors are going to get whatever they have invested in the entity. But clearly they will be affected, and clearly even the employees themselves would be affected. I would therefore, Chair, with those few questions for clarity, request the team to provide us with further clarity. Thank you so much, Chair, for the opportunity. I will end it there.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nonkonyana, for that. I've noted Honorable Gerrit and Honorable Noah, but I see a hand from the Minister. Minister, wouldn't you allow us to take those two hands and then we allow you, unless it's a burning urgent point? We only have two members who want to make an input.
Well, Chair, the previous speaker spoke for more than 15 minutes. If the other two speak for 15 minutes each, I will have left the meeting. And I just would want to give some guidance before I leave on Honorable Nonkonyana's questions. Because
Honorable Minister, just hold it there. Members, let us just be, we noted, because I did say indicate earlier on that the minister would need to leave. Let's just be brief, because I wanted to, Minister, before you leave, you would have had the opportunity to gather some of the inputs from the members, as you are the political head for this portfolio. I see the hand of Honorable Gerrit, a quick bite, and then Honorable Noah and Honorable Pala, before the minister needs to be excused by 11 o'clock.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning.
Briefly, Honorable Gerrit.
Good morning, colleagues. Yeah, I'm going to be brief. I'm going to be slow because I still did not recover from the Free State trip. But yeah, on our committee's work has made some important points, which I will not repeat. But I think I will ask that we bring in or summons the liquidators or the rescuers, so that we have a full picture. We do not understand anything of what has been presented here this morning. It would appear that the minister and the presenter tried to circumvent some of the critical issues, or to avoid some answers, giving some answers. This issue is much deeper. There's some collusion, there's corruption, and people need to account. Way back, it has been widely reported that the SA Express has been sacrificed to make way for other airliners and to manipulate, flight airline cost. And this is why we pay exorbitant amounts in terms of flight tickets and so on. I think my recommendation will be that we summons the liquidators, the business rescuers. This presentation, with all due respect towards the minister and Minister Chris, I have a lot of respect for you, but I don't even think you should speak any further in this meeting because you can't provide any answers for us. And whatever you will say will have no substance because you don't have the information to provide to us. But you have mentioned a very important point to say that the business rescuers have, almost unlimited powers. And they must come and explain in terms of those powers, how did they arrive at the fact to liquidate if they were appointed as business rescuers? But we also need to attach some names, Chairperson, some individuals, whether the department is closed or dissolved or not. We need to understand who was responsible for what and who did what. This would be my input. And I think we must agree to summons them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Gericke. Honorable Nowe, very briefly. Over to you, Honorable Nowe.
It's a challenge, Chair, that the minister had to come for a short time. Let me quickly run through, because most of the points have been covered. Good morning, Chair and the committee members, the minister and your entourage, and the petitioner. Chair, firstly, I want to support the recommendations by the department, as Honorable Gericke has said, that we must summon those identified structures or individuals. And then also, but this as a question also, we will want to hear and have documentation as to what is it that the DPE did, because that was the main holder, shareholder. And in the presentation of the department, that doesn't come out clear what was the intervention from the department itself. And further on, Chair, on the document from our research committee section, there is an area there that covers the issues that are raised by the petitioner. Chair, I think it is important also, while we will be calling the liquidator, the petitioner on those 5 points should be able to give more information so that we can then be able to check against whatever the liquidator will say in terms of those claims that the petitioner is saying there, provide us with information. Lastly, Chair, there is a mentioning of South African Human Rights Commission. We will have also to hear from them because it is alleged that since the case was presented to them, they never did anything. But also would like to hear the comment from the minister regarding the Human Rights Commission, whether did they ever engage, but they are also a stakeholder that will need to hear from them, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nowe, for that. Then we're going to have to Honorable Pala, who's our last
Thank you.
member.
Thank you, Chair. And let me stand on the protocol, which has been already been stated here. Chair, as well concerned. I'm concerned that the workers who have been working, together with Mr. Humani Kasive, have been left by the department, and they were left to the liquidators. And as we have read the petitioner as document, that they have not received anything with regard to their pension and the provident fund and any other thing which was due to them. That is my concern. And the second point, Chair, which I want to raise here is the issue of the the business plan, which was proposed by the joint business practitioners, to save the organization, and it was considered not feasible. I think we'll have to get that business plan as well, so that we understand exactly what happened. And I'm tempted, to support what Honorable Gerike said here. These matters we have read about them before, and today we meet them here in Parliament, and they prove what was projected, that this is the intention, and the intention was manipulation, and we'll need much more information about this, and as well we need Mr. Kasibe and the plus minus 600 workers, to be assisted. Something needs to be done. We can't just fold our hands and say this is the water under the bridge. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, honorable members, for those inputs. Thank you very much for the move and the second. And I'm glad that the committee has moved unanimously that this matter must be perused further, and those relevant stakeholders must come in account and give more information. I will just give the minister to respond to those inputs made by the honorable members. Over to you, Minister Chrissy.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I think that let me begin with Honorable Nonkhonyama, because I think that he correctly points out that both South African Airways and South African Express were victims of state capture, and the events that took place in 2017 and 2018 were the subject of the Zondo Commission. And these matters were aired in the Zondo Commission. And arising out of the Zondo Commission, there are a number of investigations. I want to suggest, Honorable Nonkhonyana, that we will get the relevant information in response to your questions, and we will submit it to the committee in written form, because I think you correctly point out that when there is significant mismanagement of state-owned entities, we can't just pretend that it never happened. So we would then be in a position to update you in terms of what were the findings in this regard in the Zondo Commission, and what investigations are underway into these processes. Obviously, those things are in the domain of the criminal justice system, but we would be able to point you in the relevant direction should you wish to pursue this matter further. So I think we will not go into those questions today. I think the three other members who spoke after us, after Honorable Nonkhonyana, Honorable Gerike, Honorable Phala, and Honorable Nue, really are expressing the frustration that we ourselves feel. We did not ask to go into business rescue. It was involuntary. So involuntary means somebody else makes the decision. You don't have power over it. We didn't ask to be declared insolvent. And what we will do, I think that I had explained to you when we had a conversation yesterday, Chair, that we received these questions on late on Thursday. We had limited time to put this presentation together. But what we will do is we will give the honourable members more background in writing into exactly what objections public enterprises raised to this process, what the attempts of public enterprises was to save this situation. Because I think honourable members are correct in their view that the former department could not have just stood by while this process was going on. So we would get you that background, and we will submit it in writing. But I think that at the end of the day, those who must explain the decisions are the business rescue practitioners and the liquidators. And what they must explain is why Labour is not receiving a share of the proceedings, and why some service providers are being favoured over other service providers. Because my understanding is that even if you don't want liquidation, if you land up there, then all persons must be treated equitably in that situation. So I think that will be very important. And I think the issue of pension and provident funds is also a very important question that must be answered. Whether the contributions to those funds were being made, and why it is that workers are not able to access those funds. These are all very significant and important questions which need to be answered. So I think that we would really want to pause there. Obviously, the Human Rights Commission is a Chapter 9 institution. It must account for itself. I can't account for the Human Rights Commission. It must account for itself. So I would suggest you call the Human Rights Commission to account for itself, because it's not correct that you ask a department to account for a Section 9 institution. But I want to thank the honourable members for the questions that have been posed. I share the frustration that have been expressed here today. And I think we will be listening, once you subpoena these colleagues, we will be listening with interest to the tough questions that you are going to pose to them and to the answers. But I really want to urge, Chair, I myself had to educate myself about the Companies Act. It was useful. I want to suggest that prior to your meeting the practitioners, you educate, you do some interrogate, so that you understand the environment within which they are operating, because it's quite a challenging environment, and our understanding is that once you are in business rescue or you're in liquidation, the Companies Act takes precedence over the state-owned entity enabling legislation, and that's the difficulty that we faced. So I would want to suggest to Mr. Malapane that we get the answers to the questions that have been raised in writing, where we go into the background, and we leave it there for today, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to the Honourable Minister. Thank you for your team. Thank you to the members who have raised those questions. And you know what? At the center of our deliberations, ordinary South Africans, and I think Mr. Kasibe and his team, they are looking to Parliament to assist them. And it's our responsibility to make sure that we intervene on the applied. And I think that, Minister, you'll be picking up from your team, there is a spirit that is coming from across members in the committee. When South Africans look at Parliament, they look at Parliament for solutions. They look at Parliament to assist them. And it is our responsibility that we meet, that obligation. And this committee will be assist with that. Minister, you made bold undertakings in this committee. It's a recorded session of Parliament. It's those undertakings that you made to make sure that we get that additional information so that we will assist members. You have also committed that it will come in writing so that members they can interrogate further. Ours is to assist and respond to the challenges of South Africans. Thank you very much for that input. Honorable Erika, I see a hand from you. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Minister, also thank you to you. Just want to say, Chairperson, that there is no law or act in South Africa that is beyond our Constitution. The Constitution is supreme. And we have a very democratic Constitution. So whether it's a Companies Act or whatever, it is not bigger than our Constitution. And our Constitution protects the workers, protect people, protect human rights, protect all sorts of rights of people. And then in terms of what the Minister has alluded to, that we must read up and so on, yes, we will do that. But remember, there's the King 1, the King 2, the King 3 report that elaborates extensively on the Companies Act. And there can be no liquidator or no business rescuer that's above the law, that suppress the rights of employees. We're working here with 600 some odd human beings, Chairperson, that did not receive a single cent. They are more worried to settle amounts or debt with service providers than with human beings. And it cannot be right, not in this democratic parliament. So that's the view that we need to come from. And thank you that I must applaud you that you have resolved that we must either invite the business rescuers, the liquidators, or summons them. And we need to do this ASAP so that we give an answer to the petitioner. And I thank you, Mr. Kasibe, for taking this initiative. We are on your side, I can tell you that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Gerike, for those inputs. Thank you very much, honorable members. We have dealt with item number 3, and the committee unanimously moved that we interrogate. And I must say, Honorable Gerike, it is something that we assist with. It's not something going to be lying somewhere in our shelves and for later. We are going to be assist with it. I can vouch for that. That this petition will receive the necessary attention that it deserves, as we have done with all the petitions that have come before us. We never allow this thing to drag any further. And as you can see, we are speaking of an item dating more than 5 years ago, and we cannot, as Parliament, still add to that. But what I also believe is that we should do a thorough job. As a committee, we should not rush a process so that we should not be found wanting as Parliament as well. We should do a thorough job, get all the facts, get all the information before us, and then we move forward. Honorable members, without further ado, I don't see any other hand. I'm going to propose that Mr. Kasibe, don't despair, don't feel despair. This committee will give this petition the necessary, and we will be in communication with you in due course in terms of the process that you're going to follow. Honorable members, with that, I want to thank you very much for availing yourselves to attend this meeting. All the honorable members, all the support staff, Mr. Kasibe.
Chair, sorry to interrupt you there. Can we most probably just hear from Mr. Kasibe his last words or his view on what has been transpired here today? If I'm out of order, you can roll me out of order. Thank you.
Yes. Honorable, I wouldn't want to go in that one. We've received all the information from Mr. Kasibe. The facts has been before us. Let the committee get thorough and detailed information. Our follow-up session shouldn't be very long from now, and we will have all the relevant stakeholders, including the petitioner again, as we've done with other petitions moving forward. With those words, I propose to close this meeting. Members, enjoy the rest of the day. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Salute, Chair. Thank you so much, members.
Thank you, Nkosi.
Right.
Recording stopped.